These 4 things I know are true. Anyone who wants to stand against Jon Moxley better batten down their hatches. Anybody who wants to complain that Smackdown is too urban better revisit their history. Anyone who's responsible for what WWE Vault is doing better be getting a raise. And it's a new week, which means it's time for a new FWP.
You're listening to the soon-to-be-named network, the Lamborghini of podcast networks. FWP, so good I listen weekly. Welcome to Final Wrestling Place.
I'm Tim.
I'm still Marcus.
And I used to be a young man who was immune to everything, and now pollen takes me out. Welcome to Final Wrestling Place. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you join us and however you listen. We appreciate you. We are proud to be on the soon-to-be-named network, and whether you listen to us through Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or your podcatcher of choice, or if you're an old and you use RSS feeds, sorry, Joe. But check everything out at soon-to-be-named-network.tumblr.com. It's your home for that. Catch us on social media at TNM Shows on Twitter, at Final Wrestling Place on Instagram. Go to the YouTube channel, search for Final Wrestling Place Podcast, ring the bell, subscribe, turn on your notifications, follow along, play along with us. And yeah, man, this week we've got a ton of stuff we want to talk about, including SmackDown's debut over on the USA Network, the possibilities of WWE music moving forward, the future of the WWE Vault channel, plus some craziness over at AEW with the formation of whatever Mox is going on, a little bit of Undertaking, a whole lot of banner, and some blind rankings. But first and foremost, Marcus, how are you?
The boyhood dream almost came true.
Oh, okay. We're talking opportunities, I'm guessing.
Not quite.
Okay.
Different opportunity.
Cool.
So it was back on the 12th. I was at my super secret science job, and I went to go fix somebody else's mistake. Mistake number one. Shouldn't have done that. And I just felt something on my arms. I was like, it's funny. Kind of like the sensation of when you walk through a cobweb. And look, don't see anything, brush my arms, don't think anything of it. About an hour and a half or so, it's like a bug bite starts to form on the crease of my elbow. I'm like, must be a little mosquito bite. Don't know how that happened, but tis the season still. Don't think anything of it. Nothing out of the ordinary. Mosquitoes been loving me. Nothing new. And then as the day goes on and it gets into the evening, my shoulders are on fire. My palms are on fire. My arms are on fire. And no, it's not the chills that The Rock provides. This is something else. I'm like, this is weird. This isn't me. I don't react to things like this. What's happening? And so I'm itchy, but there's nothing really to itch, and it's under my skin. And I'm like, what's going on? I feel like underneath my skin, there's another layer that's on fire, and I can't get to it. So I end up going to sleep, and I wake up, and you know the episode of Martin where Martin gets in the boxing ring and he gets busted up real bad? That's how I felt and kind of looked like. My lips were swollen huge. My eyes hurt. Still had the itchiness up and down my arms, in my palms. My fingers were swollen. My hands were swollen. I was like, oh boy, this isn't me.
You're becoming a superhero.
Something bad's happening. So first thing I do, I go into work and talk to the nurse at work, get the workman's comp thing open, explain the situation. Hey, this is what I felt at this time. I was here doing this in this room. Document it. Send me on my merry way. So she sends me to, we have like a different location you have to go to anytime there's like a working comp thing. They go, they check me out. They agree that something got me. They're not exactly sure what, but due to all the signs and symptoms, something got me. And there seems to be only one prescription that can do the job.
Penicillin.
No.
Okay.
This isn't a job for penicillin, amoxicillin, Tylenol. Nothing that you can get just walking into the store.
I just so people know, I don't think you can go and buy penicillin or amoxicillin or just right off the counter.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
This is a job for steroids.
Okay.
So the doctor asks me, he's like, do you want a shot? And I'm like, right here, right now? You guys provide that right here, right now? I don't have to go nowhere else. You'll load me up with the rocket fuel right here. So yeah, great. Let's do it. Hook it into my veins. So sit down. I'm pumped. I'm amped. I'm jacked. And nurse lady comes in. Oh, she's got the vial. Oh, she's got the syringe. She's got a baggie full of steroids in pill form. It's practically Christmas. Couldn't wipe the smile off my face. And as she goes to inject me, I ask her, like, any chance these will help me gaining additional muscle mass in a rather quick fashion? And she lets me know, no, these are not the cool kind of steroids. These are just your basic help you feel better steroids. Tim, I was this close. I was this close to getting prescribed anabolic steroids from a doctor right now. Anabolic steroids was the next logical step. And I came oh so close, but it was not to be yet. So I've got to finish up these Mickey Mouse pills that they prescribed me. I got to follow up on Tuesday. You know, maybe my arms don't feel better yet. I don't know. Maybe I'm not feeling myself, and maybe there's something just a little bit stronger. Maybe there's even, I don't know, it's almost like there's some type of growth hormone. I would take it in horse form. That would be fine. But if they can't give me, something that'll make me replenish my cells and my sense of being as rapidly and as strongly as a horse or an ox, then maybe they can prescribe me something for a human. Maybe some human growth hormone just to help me recover in time, get myself back. I dropped a couple pounds. I dropped about 8 pounds during this little process. So maybe there's something that they can give me to get me back on the right path and to get me to be as healthy and successful as possible.
I think you might be living on a prayer for forever. I think the only way you're going to get what you're looking for, bud, is you're going to have to tear the muscle completely off the bone.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Marcus, I would absolutely hate if you had a groin tear the likes of which you wouldn't believe. Even make you start questioning El Dandy. But dog, I don't think you're getting steroids for the sniffles because a little bug bit you. I think you're getting steroids for the sniffles because a little bug bit you.
Don't threaten me with a good time. Marcus, I would absolutely hate if you had a groin tear the likes of which you wouldn't believe. Even make you start questioning El Dandy. But dog, I don't think you're getting steroids for the sniffles because a little bug bit you.
as I say, as I woke up with sinus issues and allergies, I'm making light of this death animal that bit you and then turned you into one of the clumps overnight.
Yes. I had a coworker who was like, "Oh, you got spidey senses now." I said, "Spidey senses? I feel more like Uncle Ben.
Oh,
This might be the end of the road. I don't feel so good, fam."
yeah. Just so you know, you did not get great power, so you also did not get great responsibility either, because they didn't give you steroids. But that
That comes with the steroids. It's in the little packet they give you.
the instruction manual for steroids. They just
Yes.
tell you how to use this, how to drive it. It's like that scene in Independence Day where Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum are in the alien spaceship and they go to drive it, and Will Smith's character pushes the stick forward and the ship goes down. So he takes the instructions off and then turns them upside down and puts them back on the ship. And he goes, it's the wrong way. So that's going to be your packet for steroids, is you're going to read it and you go, oh, hold on. And then you're going to have to turn it around. And that's how you actually manage.
Question for you.
Sure.
Not to dip into your banter time.
No, I don't. I do not want to do steroids.
Oh, well, would you do them and give them to me? I don't want to put you on the spot, dog spot, bald spot.
I think that might be illegal, but the answer is yes. I would give you my steroids if I had them. I don't think it's legal to be prescribed medication and then give that medication to somebody else. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on television.
It's like vitamin C.
It's
if you
not
got vitamin C.
vitamins.
You can give me some vitamin C. Come on.
I can buy Marcus. I can buy vitamins at the 7-Eleven. I think
Well,
that
I
if
can
it's
buy a lot of things at the 7-Eleven.
I know
inside
you can.
or out.
Yeah, right around the corner. On the dark side of the 7-Eleven, you can buy anything you want, Chief. But
I wonder
yeah.
if anybody's used that in court. Come on, I bought it
I
at
just bought it at the 7-Eleven. I don't know. You had a question. Go ahead. What was your question?
Yeah. Maybe it's because of my ute, and I'm not sure if you were there too in your ute. Independence Day and Men in Black, are they made too closely together?
No,
because they run together in my head.
No, they're very significantly different.
Like, to me, Jeff Goldblum is in, I know he's in Independence Day, but to me, he's also in Men in Black. Even though I know he's not in Men in Black. That's Tommy Lee Jones. But to me, he makes an appearance in Men in Black, even though I know he isn't in there.
No.
Okay.
No, it's not close enough for me. I can understand where you would come up with that because they're both alien movies or movies that involve aliens, except one, Will Smith is in a black suit, and the other, he is a military man. Jeff Pullman's in one. He gives the greatest speech in the history of all movies.
Is he the president?
He is the president. Yes.
See, I got it right.
He gives the speech. He gives the speech on the back of the little Jeep with the little walkie-talkie that Cody.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
The one that Cody rips off during the build up to like All In or whatever back when being the Elite was cool. Before they had to cancel it, unfortunately, for whatever reason. Hey, look, I firmly believe there was a pocket of time where being the Elite was all right.
All right.
That's me. I'll stand by that. All right now. So today was a monumental day in my life because today was my front yard's final cut. We're done.
Oh.
Lawn mowing season is officially over. I don't care how much grass grows. I'm not cutting this shit again. It's done.
Oh.
I'm sorry. That's one hard. You get one.
Front loaded.
Yeah, we're getting it out of the way now. I'm very sorry. One and done. No more Harshies. But yeah, I'm done. I'm done cutting the grass. We're done. The backyard has stopped growing, which is nice. Or that's troubling. I don't know either. But front yard was growing. It was doing weird. So yeah. I do need to go back behind, and I'm gonna have to bust out the edger, the weed eater, and I gotta do some detailing. But that can be done at any time, at any place. Don't care. But we're in that season, Marcus. You know, the sun's going away sooner.
Mm-hmm.
The moon's coming out sooner.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting depressed sooner.
Got to hit that heat in the car.
No.
Then blast the air conditioning on the way home.
Why would you put the heat on?
By the time you get up, though, it's 10 o'clock and it's 70 degrees outside.
That's not true.
When I have to get up and get my day going, there's fog and there's what do you call that ice gimmick that gets on cars? It freezes.
Nope, not bailing you out of this one. Go ahead, figure it out.
you get some of that ice gimmick on the top of your car. Can't see. Got to get out there with the little. Get out there scraping.
You mean frost?
Being all loud. Frost. That's the one.
I was gonna wait to see if you could get there, but you
nope.
couldn't. So, all right.
Open up my brain and see all the gray. Nope, ain't happening.
Can you point to the parts of your brain that are more smooth than the rest? Are they somehow all on the back of your head where your head bounces off the canvas?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's craziness.
Couldn't be me.
Couldn't be me.
Have to leave your feet for that, but
yeah, not a chance, brother. But yeah, man. Glad that mowing season's done. Thank God. I did actually have an interaction at the 7-Eleven that I feel bears repeating. So once a week, now that I'm trying to be a better man, I used to go to the 7-Eleven often. Now I just go once a week. And I go early in the morning so I can get all my bad eating done early, so that when I can clean it up at the end of the day. You know, as is the way. Eat like a king at breakfast, a pauper at dinner, whatever. I don't know the phrase. I'm not a foodman. I just eat a lot.
How smooth is your brain?
It's so ripply until I start thinking, and then it hurts. It gets pulled tight like a bed sheet, and then it's no wrinkles. A brain at rest, so many crevices. A brain in action, taut like a tiger taut.
Final CTE place.
That's right. CTE is no joke. But I'm in the line at the 7-Eleven, and as I'm like getting my last accoutrement from the grill, namely 3 taco and cheese taquitos, because as is the way. So I'm at the taquito stand, and these 2 guys walk in while I'm there. And the grill is in the same line as the registers. So like I get my stuff from the grill, and then I just take like 4 steps to my right and I'm at the register. So these 2 guys walk in, and they immediately go in front of the line because I'm not there yet. And they look to be together. So the younger guy gets in front, and as that's happening, I'm moving the line. So the younger guy goes up and he's like, I need 10 on whatever pump, blah, blah, blah. 2024, putting 10 on a pump is like spitting. But he wasn't driving a moped, so it didn't go very far. But either way, he does his little transaction. He pays in cash. He walks away. So the old man, I think, or not old man, he's probably in his like 50s, 60s, or whatever.
Seasoned.
Unseasoned, but seasoned, if you know what I mean. Not seasoned like you. Not seasoned how I wish I were. But as the younger man leaves, I think the other gentleman is with him. Instead, he jumps the line. And now here's where I got a little confused. Okay, So if I'm facing you and you're at the register, you're the register person and I'm paying.
Yes. Okay. Yep.
Okay. The man was close to the door, like in between. He was on the back right shoulder of the younger guy towards the door, not towards the inside of the store.
Nope. Line forms heading towards the back of the building.
Well, it
along with the register. So that when you pay, you're not backing out. You're continuing forward. Yes.
You're moving out the door. So you are going left to right across the line out. He is back right shoulder of this guy. So the younger guy leaves, older guy walks up. He's like, "Oh, I need 2 packs of Marlboro, blah, blah, blah." And he looks at me and he goes, "Oh man, I'm sorry. I didn't see you there. Go on ahead." And I'm like, "Bruh, you just jumped in and started handling your business. Go ahead. Fine. F me. Whatever." So then he starts like telling me this story. It's like, "Oh, I gotta run. I'm running late. I got somebody coming to my house soon." I'm like, "Yeah, man, whatever. Just get your stuff." So he walks out. I make my transaction. Apparently, this guy parked next to me at the 7-Eleven. So as I'm walking to my car, he's like backing out. And then he like triples down on me being a cool dude. And he honks at me as he drives away. So now that he's been extra nice and then extra, extra nice, I decided I was going to play a game called "Where Are You Going?" Because he said he was in a hurry. He was in a rush. So he leaves the 7-Eleven, pulls out in front of traffic, cuts a car off.
Dude's rock,
cuts a car off, and he's driving. So I follow him at a healthy distance. He doesn't know this.
Real quick pause. When you follow somebody, what method do you call back to? Because to me, I use the Beethoven method where they have to follow the bad doctor back to his vet place. So it's like, "Oh, turn the lights off. Dad, slow down." That's me in my head.
Okay.
No. Okay.
So I feel like I am playing the mid 2000s PlayStation Classic Driver.
Oh, okay.
Where you're tailing somebody and there's the meter. So like, in my head, there was like the caution meter. It's like,
yeah.
Don't get too close or he's going to get suspicious. Right. Don't get too far away or you're going to miss him. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
good game. Yeah.
It's a great game. It's a great game in my head. And so he pulls out in front of traffic, cuts a car off. I safely get out of the way and there's a car in between us. So he's driving towards the light and off to the right is this big shopping mall. So I'm like, okay, if he's in a rush, he's going to go down, he's going to turn the light, he's going to go into some residential. He turns into the shopping center. He turns in. And as he turns in, I started following him just to see where he's at, what he's doing. And come to find out, he parks at the grocery store. So in my head, I'm automatically like, "You lying piece of because you could have bought the cigarettes at the grocery store.
Okay.
You didn't have to make 2 stops. If you were running late, Marcus, wouldn't you try to minimize the number of trips you would have to make?
If I know anything about smokers, though, it's that there is a habit to what they do. So you got to pick up your smokes from this place, this specific kind, from this specific place. There's a level of comfort. There's a level of expectation that comes along with the cigarette smoking process from what I have observed. Now, maybe I've just observed other people's habits, and those are exceptions rather than the rule. But to me, because that's all I've seen, I think that's the rule. So, hey, if you're a cigarette smoker, have been, are, will be, let us know in the TNM Shows channel at TNM Shows in the soon-to-be-named network Discord. Let us know. Is there a certain level of habit with procuring your cigarettes?
Let us know. I think what it might be, and here's where I might get him, right? Sometimes a place might have cigarettes, but it might not have your cigarettes. Mm-hmm. Like, to say I'm going to get a pack of Marlboros, oh, that's very generic. There's like 27 different boxes of Marlboros. So maybe the super specific box that he wants is only sold at this 7-Eleven and not the grocery store 90 seconds ahead. But in any case, that's the last time I'm letting some dude just cut me off. And if he would have asked me again, if the roles would have been reversed, I mean, like, yeah, actually get behind me, old man. Like, age before beauty. I'm going in. So, with all that said, banter complete. It's time for blind rankings. And Marcus, mine is a little topical. So I'm going to let you give first since you're such a giver.
You know, that's my style, baby.
That is your style.
All right. Mr. Tim, the calendar has officially flipped over into the month of September. We are halfway through, more than halfway through by the time you hear this podcast. So my question for you, and it is topical for what we'll be getting to. Tim, I want you to blind rank these Fall Brawl War Games teams.
Okay. All right. I like this.
All right. Here we go. First one out. Whoa, drop my pen. Here we go. First one for you is from 1993, the team of Sid, Big Van Vader, and the Harlem Heat.
This is an underrated team. Criminally underrated for me. I'm going to be safe and call it 2. They were not successful, but I would still take my chances with Sid, Vader, and the Harlem Heat.
Yeah.
It just so happens they ran across a Shockmaster that year. Poor Uncle Fred. But yeah, number 2 for me. This team on paper could beat any 4-man team in a double cage, in not a double cage, in a Survivor Series. This is the team.
All right. And your next team is from 1995. Hulk Hogan, the Macho Man Randy Savage, Lex Luger, and Sting.
Is it too much to say this is too much? Like, tell me you want to kill somebody without telling me you own a gun. Like, this in game. Nah, man. I'm gonna put him at 3 just because I'm not gonna give Bad Terry top billing at all.
Nothing wrong with that. Next up, from 1996, the NWO contingent of Hollywood Hogan, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and NWO Sting.
Jeff Farmer immediately drops this to the bottom of the list. This is a 4.
Right.
This is a 4 banger.
Oh, a 4. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave 1 and 5 open.
Had me in the first half. Not gonna lie. All right. Next up for you.
Yes.
The NWO Wolfpack from 1998. Now, this was a team of 3. So it is Kevin Nash, Lex Luger, and Sting.
Number 1, baby. Number 1. Mom Jeans Luger. Yes. All day.
Red red face paint,
Yeah.
possible goatee, Sting.
Yes.
As Ed agrees.
Going through some stuff, Sting. Yes.
Yes, as Ed agrees, the best Sting. Tim, you might be kicking yourself because number 5 is from the 1994 War Games. It is the Nasty Dream of Dusty and Dustin Rhodes and the Nasty Boys.
I like the team.
The Snugs brothers.
The Snugses. I'm not mad at it. If I needed to live in a world of realism, Dusty's an old beat down man. The Nasties aren't necessarily the best. Dustin is practically on his way out. He's one King of the Road match away from leaving WCW. So I can live with 5. But so what's my total wrap up for everything?
Your wrap up. Number 5, the Nasty Dream. Number 4, the NWO 96 team. Number 3, Hogan, Savage, Luger, Sting. Number 2, Sid, Vader, the Harlem Heat. And number 1 from 1998, NWO Wolfpack, Nash, Luger, Sting.
That's all right, man. Just as we went, man, I was feeling what I was feeling.
Yeah, man.
I'm happy.
That's why it's blind rankings. You never know, baby.
That's right.
You got to roll with the punches.
So my blind ranking is going to go right into what our first topic of the show is going to be.
Oh, throw it on me.
I want you to rank these 5 moments from the WWE Vault live stream of WCW Saturday Night that took place this weekend at 6:05.
Sounds of freedom.
Sounds of freedom. So you're going to rank these moments from that episode of Saturday Night.
A lot of ones, but here we go.
First up, not 1, but 2 stud stable promos.
Yes. This feels like a good 3 out of the gate.
Okay. Next up, Lord Steven Regal versus Johnny B. Bad.
Here comes Johnny B. Bad. I was so pumped.
Shout out to
I'm gonna
I didn't know Nutella was around in 94.
I'm gonna give that a 2, man. A nice. Was it TV title match or was it non-title?
It was TV title.
Can't remember
because there was a
TV
time
title.
limit.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah. Yeah. So number 2, man.
Okay. Next up is Sting versus a job guy.
Who? One of the best Sting looks in the orange, very similar to his Slamboree 94 look. This is, of course, in September, this episode. So I'm going to go 4.
Okay.
But man, Stinger was looking right.
All right. Next up is the Cactus Jack promo with Evad Sullivan.
As a kid, the only time Cactus Jack kind of clicked with me was Spin the Wheel, Make the Deal.
Okay.
And that had a lot more to do with the wheel and the deal than Cactus.
Okay.
So I'm going to go 5.
Okay.
Again, not insulting. It was a great promo. Everything going on, but yeah, I might have just been just a little too young to connect with Cactus Jack, so I'm going to give it a 5.
Which means that your number 1 will headline this list. So Marcus has 5 of the Cactus Jack promo, 4 Sting versus a job guy, 3 2 stud stable promos, 1 Lord Steven Regal versus Johnny B. Bad, and number 1, the formation of the Nasty Dream.
Oh, nailed it.
Yeah, you
nailed
did
it.
nail
That was
that.
my number 1.
Yes. Formation of the Nasty Dream. So, and that just easily runs us into what I first want to talk about is the moment we've all been waiting for. WWE actually doing something cool on their YouTube with all of their stuff, right? When we all saw the notification they were going to go live at 6:05 with an episode of WCW Saturday Night, it was borderline must-see appointment television for a lot of us. And it was super fun. Me, you, and the boys from We Need Wrestling all just got in a group chat, just texting each other throughout the entirety of the show. Marcus, how did it feel to actually watch this as close to live as possible, or as close to original form as possible?
I said it in our group chat that we had going on. Shout out Brett and DJ. We Need Wrestling. Give them a check if you're not listening. For me, it put the 5 in 35. I was taken right back to 1994, a warm fall evening, getting done, playing outside, riding my bike, doing sweet tricks, jumping off things I shouldn't have been jumping off of, rolling in and watching some wrestling and eating dinner. It restored the feeling so quickly. And it just took me back, man. Like, I don't want to be an old, but I'm going to be an old for a second. It used to be better. It used to be so much better. And yeah, it's because I was a kid and I was watching it. I get it. Just the characters and how clearly they are defined. And because everybody else is so clearly defined, when you do get a Cactus Jack, which has more shades of gray, really sticks out. And if you're ready for shades of gray at that time, that's something that you can really grab onto, because it's less clearly defined. It's not like everything else. It's not as bright and colorful. But man, it was just like every match. It's like, oh, there's one of my guys. There's another guy. Like, there's another one of my favorites. There's another one of my favorites. Just match after match. Like, even some of the enhancement guys. There's a Frankie Lancaster appearance.
Yes.
Like, it just took me right back, dude. I felt so good. And the icing on the cake was being able to watch it. One with the little one, because she was absolutely hooked for the entire episode. And usually she's good for like a match, maybe. But she was into it all, and like very quickly pointing out like, oh, like that's a bad guy. Oh, that's a good guy. And like batting 1,000. But to add to that, being able to text with you guys during it, because when I grew up, it might be the same for you too. Like, I didn't have a buddy to watch wrestling with until I met you, which was already a little bit later, and Saturday night was kind of, definitely the
not
C or
cool.
D show at the time. So
definitely not as good.
So this time in 94, it's the primary show still.
Right. This was,
so I mean, we were getting the meat,
because Nitro hadn't even started yet.
No, we're still a year away.
Yeah, Nitro doesn't start for almost another year.
Yep.
From this episode of Saturday Night. This used to be appointment television for me on Saturdays. I know it drove my mom absolutely insane, but my grandma's the homie. She's the one who's like, let him watch. And so, this was absolutely awesome. But, the thing I want to drive towards, for us at least, is now that we've seen what the WWE can do with this, now it's a game of what's next, right?
Mm-hmm.
This can't be just a one and done, right?
I don't think so. And I mean, it had about anywhere between 3,000 and 3,500 people for the majority of the stream.
So as of right before we recorded, it has 72,000 views.
Wow. I think that's pretty good.
Considering it was a live stream. Yeah.
A live stream of something from 30 years ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't nothing other than a nasty dream. I wouldn't say anything notable happened on the show. There's some cool things that happen. It's like, oh, like they're planting the seeds for this here, or like, oh, we're in the middle of this, or oh, this already happened. But like, as far as like, there was nothing there that was like a tentpole event, you know?
Right. Like nothing super memorable, but it's a lot of stuff that, like you said, seed planting stuff for Fall Brawl, which is coming up. If I do my head math, I think this is either the Saturday night before the go home Saturday night, or there's maybe two.
Yeah, I'm thinking there's two more.
But in either way, WWE has to follow this up. I don't know if the easy answer is just, hey, let's just do a this day in wrestling history for the entirety of WCW Saturday Night, and let's just go through it all. But I do think they purposefully picked this one because it really did feature the creme de la creme of WWE Hall of Famers on the show.
Sure.
Right?
The perfect example is when they're talking about the US title and they're like, oh, you know, the United States title held by such legends and Hall of Famers as, and then they go on listing like the WCW people. It's like, this was the episode.
Exactly. Because Rick Steamboat is the champ. He's challenging Stone Cold Steve Austin at Fall Brawl.
There's a Ric Flair promo.
There's a Ric Flair promo. Nick Bockwinkel showed up.
Booker T's on the show with Harlem Heat. Vader.
Right, like Sting's on it.
Sting, yeah.
Luminaries from the world of
Dusty.
WCW. Dusty, Nasty Boys, like,
yeah.
It is some of like the best work or best they could have done collectively to put like this was perfectly curated content in my humble opinion. What for you though is, and we're going to steal a phrase from ourselves, what is the logical next step for this? Like, because I know you kind of said in the group chat and you don't want to say it again, but it's like, like you don't want this to end up being like, don't give me a 2014 Raw.
No, yeah. I don't need stuff that is like readily accessible or stuff nobody was asking for or wanted. Give me like, to me, Saturday night's perfect. Like, what if just for the next year we just did the Saturday nights leading up to the first Nitro, and that takes us to the 30th anniversary of Nitro? That'd be cool. Just see what happens. So I'm totally fine with just doing Saturday nights from now up to the next year, and just going through 94, 95 WCW. I think it's the perfect time period, especially where they're at in 94 in September. Like, Hogan's there, but not all of the Hogan influence has fully set in. It's like Hogan has his own thing that's going on at the top of the card, and everything else is still very pre-Hogan 94 WCW. Like you said, stunning Steve Austin, U.S. title picture with Ricky Steamboat. You got the Stinger. You've got Dusty and Dustin taking on the Stud Stable. You got the Nasty Boys. You got Harlem Heat. You got Pretty Wonderful. You got Lord Steven Regal having a 15-minute match every show. You know, Johnny B. Bad could go at this time and was an exciting mid-card worker. Like, yeah, just more of this. This was perfect to me. But
Yeah,
if they
this was
were
perfect.
going to do something else, I don't know. And well, you can't, because Vince's voice is going to be on it. I was going to say, like, can they finally do like the 89, 90, 91 run of Superstars? But I don't think with Vince's voice on commentary, and I don't think the legal matters have been wrapped up yet about who owns Superstars and who gets a check every time Superstars of Wrestling is said or whatever. Like, I don't think it's been handled, but like that would be what I want. But not more than I want WCW Saturday Night.
Right. I think I think we're in alignment together for that. More so just because that's the sweet spot for me. Like that was baby's first wrestling for me. I was definitely a WCW kid until much later. But yeah, man, more Saturday Night be cool. I know we joked about it, but they were showing commercials for Main Event and for Pro. And I know all of us were just like, give us Pro, you cowards.
Yes.
Like,
give us Pro, give us Main Event.
give us all of
Give
it.
it all to us.
Yeah. But this was super awesome. Like, and I know that some people will say, oh, well, if you're doing WCW, now you can maybe start doing like ECW. I don't think ECW would hit the same, just because like for the biggest reason of it all is the licensed music.
Yeah.
Because in this episode of Saturday Night, they were able to air it in its original form, or as close to its original form as possible, and not have to like
It was
dub stuff
unobstructed.
out. Yeah. They didn't have to dub stuff out. This was awesome. And like, even if it's not like a regular thing and you just like time capsule me into certain places, that would be cool too. But you got to curate the right thing. It's not every little thing that can go in there.
Right.
I thought it was neat that they did 605. They did it on Saturday, and like, it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. And we hope you guys got to enjoy it as much as we did. And I know we greatly look forward to whatever comes next. Because the WWE Vault guys need a raise. They need some more money, with some more ideas, and keep that thing moving. So, what's next on the list for you? What do you want to bring up from the week that was?
Just before I don't forget about it, SmackDown USA.
Yeah, man, SmackDown USA. Have you been seeing the discourse online about people complaining that Megan Thee Stallion is doing the SmackDown theme, and that wrestling?
I haven't.
Okay, go ahead.
I haven't seen people complaining about Megan Thee Stallion being used for the SmackDown theme, but I have seen people complaining that to them it was a nondescript hip hop adjacent song being used for SmackDown, which I would hear because it kind of sounded like all of the other nondescript themes. However, when you put Megan Thee Stallion's name on it, and then you get that K-pop bump as well, now you're cooking with some gas and you're getting some extra eyeballs, some new fresh eyeballs. on the WWE product that definitely probably would never tune in. So I'm for it. I wish the song was better. Like, I wish it had a little more aggression to it, but that's okay. I wish it just made me move a little more, made me feel something. Doesn't make me feel anything, but again, I'm way past that point of being targeted to. So I get it. Maybe it makes the kids these days get jacked, get hyped, get amped, maybe even electrified.
Maybe. My biggest issue comes from, it really all stems from like one tweet that I saw, and I'm trying to find it. I found the channel, or not the channel. I found the post, or the poster. The new SmackDown theme song is absolutely awful. What happened to wrestling music? This does not fit the vibe of SmackDown.
Whoa. Hold on just a second there. You know, I have no problem saying this. SmackDown's the black show, baby. SmackDown has always been for the minorities. Blacks, Hispanic community.
Yeah.
Spanish speaking community.
You might as well call SmackDown Wrestling FUBU, because it is. You might as well call it Def Jam Vendetta. You can call it whatever you want. This is the show for the black folk. It's so for the black folk. They found the blackest television network not named BET to put it on. That jank was on UPN. Coming on right on after the Hughleys. Like, this, you can't tell me that the discourse of wrestling is for rock and roll and there's no place for hip hop in wrestling.
Wrestling hasn't been for rock and roll in quite a long time, because rock and roll hasn't been rock and roll in quite a long time. Not that I'm a music expert or anything like that, but long gone are the days of butt rock being what's popping off for the youngins. Maybe if they got Limp Bizkit, maybe that would get some people talking, because Limp Bizkit has kind of captured that magic a little bit with the youngsters, but like in an ironic kind of way.
Right.
In the same way that we would be like, yeah, like I've listened to the Bee Gees and the Jackson 5. Like,
yeah, it's just, it drives me insane that like people think we change one little thing. Or not, it's not necessarily just one little thing, because there's a lot of changes with SmackDown this week. Namely, the new 6 SmackDown logo.
Yeah, you know what? I like that it is distinguishable.
It's one thing.
Yeah.
It's the S with the D on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, pause.
I don't mind it. Is it a little complicated? You got to kind of tilt your head a little bit just to see it. But I think once you get it, you got it. You know what it is.
Yeah.
And again, it's better than like, I don't know, just like a super high def, passionless, meaningless logo like they usually turn out.
Mm-hmm. Like, how many different ways can I do the same logo?
It doesn't look computer generated. That's what I'm trying to say.
It looks like an artist did it. Like
looks like a human being tried to make that, and I appreciate that.
Yes. As opposed to like every other SmackDown logo since like the first one. With the smack and the down and the exclamation point at the end. Like,
I like this the SmackDown logo with the X for the 10th anniversary for that year. That was cool.
I didn't like that one at all.
But SmackDown was really bad that year for the most part.
Yeah. Like, that'll do it, But yeah, just SmackDown with what did you watch the season premiere of SmackDown this week?
You know me, baby, had to. You sure did.
Is there anything you want to talk about from the show? Since we're on the topic about it.
I feel like there was only really one thread worth talking about the whole night, and that was the bloodline and Roman and Cody. And maybe it's because I went back and I watched some old wrestling this week, and I was like, oh, that's really awesome. Like I had watched the it was from Center Stage Chronicles. What do they call it? The Massacre in Marietta, maybe? It was either like a worldwide or pro or something like that. And it's the Road Warriors, and they're supposed to take on the Samoan SWAT team. And the SWAT team has like travel issues. They can't make it. So the Freebirds step in. And so it's like the steel cage match, and the Road Warriors are up, and then the Samoans break in, and it's both teams beating up on the Road Warriors. And Hawk does a gnarly blade job. And Animal is handcuffed to the rope, and he does a great job of like working the top rope and like trying to get down to his partner, and like he gets beaten back to the corner to explain like why doesn't he just run down. And yeah, Hawk gets annihilated, and they all leave the ring, and Animal's like physically busted up, but he's also like just had to see his tag partner get 5'd 1, and Hawk is juiced, gushing blood, and Animal cuts this intense promo in the back about like, who the H do you think you are? You forgot like who you're messing with. Like, we're still the Road Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
We're still the guys that'll take your head off in 90 seconds. Just because we've been, pretty much kind of, I don't say breaking the fourth wall, but kind of acknowledging like, hey, just because we've been booked a certain way for the last like year or two, and we've been like in more competitive matches, like don't get it twisted. Like, we are still who we are, and like you're about to find out now.
Right.
And I was like, oh, what a cool angle, right? Like, use the cage, get some heat. What an awesome angle. Advance the television. Now Hawk's written off for a little bit, so now you don't know, like, okay, well, like Animal's kind of okay, but like Hawk isn't. So when are they going to be back? And now you're anticipating them being back, right? And you're building this tension, and like, okay, well, who are they going to go after? Both teams, one team, whatever. All that to get to the SmackDown cage match. And it's Cody, it's Solo, whatever. I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but it doesn't matter. We get to the end angle, and the Bloodline's getting the jump on Cody. Great. And Roman comes in. Okay. And it was just kind of like the good guys just got up, and the bad guys like left. And we're left looking at, okay, like Cody and Roman, like there's some tension there, kind of, but I wouldn't say there's necessarily beef. And the rest of the Bloodline kind of looks like an afterthought and like a nuisance. And I thought this would have been a great opportunity to like run an angle on Roman and Cody.
Right.
Or like, if you're going to have them up, have them like fighting back to back, and they bump into each other, and then they're about to lay into each other or something, and then they get jumped.
Mm-hmm.
To build like like when we work together really well, but like when we beef or get distracted and we're not working together, we get beaten down.
Right.
And there you go. You have your story for the match that you're going to get to, the tag match.
Right.
And
But
I wish they would have done that, and that's not what they did.
What they did was like almost the polar opposite, right? Like, I love Roman, don't get me wrong, but I'm getting sick and tired of Roman Reigns showing up and just manhandling the Bloodline by himself.
Yeah,
Like,
it's kind of taking the steam out of some things.
Like, it's tiring. Like, the same group that washed Cody and KO and Randy now can't do a thing to Roman. And like, I get it that the catalyst for all of it is Jacob Fatu, right? And Roman and Jacob didn't have a face-to-face. They didn't lay hands on each other. But here's what really grinded my gears about SmackDown. So they do the 4v1 beatdown on Cody in the cage. Out comes Roman. Roman equalizes. They get the one up on him. They go backstage. And Nick Aldis says, well, the Bloodline want to talk to me. They have an offer that's too good to refuse. And then the next thing you know is Nick Aldis is saying what the match they requested. And Cody goes, I'm done with the Bloodline. I'm done with the Bloodline. It's Roman's problem. I'm out. Right? Then you fast forward to the main event segment. Right? And Roman doesn't say anything out of turn. He's like, this is my WWE. Everything is still me. It's my stuff. And then Cody comes out and basically goes, it was yours. But nothing. Then like the Bloodline comes out and there's nothing that happens from Cody saying I'm done with the Bloodline to Cody signing the contract for the tag match that would have pulled Cody back into the match. It's a gap. I don't get it. Like, make the match a 2v1 and make Cody make the save at Bad Blood. You know,
right.
Like
we've got a long way to get to Survivor Series. Can we do something else?
No, apparently not. Apparently not. I think the worst thing they did was have Cody beat Solo.
Twice.
Because if Solo beats Cody, then Cody has a reason to get his hands on Solo. And he would agree to sign the contract.
That's the other part of this I was thinking. And again, I'm not here telling you that Solo Sikoa is ready to be WWE champion. I'm not saying that he is the guy. That is not what I'm saying. What I am saying is I have seen equal or lesser talent be WWE champion for way lesser storyline purposes. I don't think there is any damage done if Solo wins at SummerSlam and loses the title here. That's what I think should have happened.
Right, but instead he doesn't win at SummerSlam, so then you give us a match here at the debut episode of SmackDown on USA. So now I'm like, cool. They're going to fix the problem they ran at SummerSlam. Cody's going to drop the strap to Solo. And then Solo can hold the title and you still do the same thing. October, he doesn't defend the title. He's in a tag team match. Him and Jacob versus Cody and Roman. You get to November. The champion doesn't defend the title. He's in War Games. So Solo can go 2 to 3 months after being WWE champion and not defend the title. And then you have him defend the title for the first time at like the Royal Rumble. And whoever he faces, whether it's Cody or Roman or Randy or KO or whoever it is, they take the title from him right there because Cody or Roman or all of them interfere and they right the universe.
Yep.
You can do that. The Rock was not ready when he won the Deadly Game tournament.
No.
The Rock was not there. Jinder Mahal winning the WWF title from Randy Orton. He was not there. He had the look,
Don't
but
hinder.
he wasn't there.
Yeah, Sheamus the first time.
I was about to bring up Sheamus.
Yeah.
Sheamus wasn't there. Like, so you don't give me Solo's not ready. Okay. At some point, you're going to have to see if they're ready or if they can get ready.
All right.
Like, it's, I was going to use the phrase fake sport, but like, it's wrestling.
It's more of the strength. It's more of the strength of the storyline to me than it is about who's there. Yes, I agree. Jacob Fatu is the standout of the group, and if anybody's winning the gold, it should be him. But for the sake of the story, Solo is in that position, so it could be Solo. Solo could be Moppy, for all I care. I'm putting the belt on Moppy because that's how good the story is, and Moppy would be my champion and the tribal chief, self-appointed and proclaimed. But that's what I would do. I don't care who that person is. It just so happens to be Solo, and he's been in this spot for the last couple of years in the Bloodline. So yeah, I think they missed the chance to do a cool thing with their storytelling. I don't see how Cody's going to benefit from a 500-day reign as champion or whatever it's going to end up being. Count me out. I think it could have used a little intrigue. I feel like Cody, I'm going to say something nice. I feel like he is a fairly self-aware top guy where he knows that it's best if he is vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And if he has questions that are asked about him, and if he opens himself up to being played a fool, it's good for his character. It's good for the television. So it's good for the fan base. So I do appreciate that about Cody, but like Cody just washing Solo both times and like basically eating the main course before Roman Reigns can get his plate. Like, doesn't feel right.
Right, because, and again, too, like if Solo wins the WWE title, there's more doubt that Solo can beat Roman. But instead, every time we've seen Roman, he has literally been smashing Solo, Tama, and the infamous one at the regular. Like, even if they try to 3v1 him, he's still beating him up.
Yeah, it takes like Jacob.
It takes
then he
Jacob.
Might be in some trouble.
Right. Like, is this how it felt in like the 80s with Hulk? Like, is this how it felt? I'm asking those who have been there, right? Like,
I feel like Hulk at least got let heat get put on him on the house show circuit. And like, yeah, on TV, because that was less frequent, like, yeah, you'd see Hulk up, Hogan Must Pose, Saturday Night Main Event, and all that. But like, now it's just like, can we get any heat on the baby faces? It's just continually like, well, the baby faces got up this week, but not all the way up. Maybe next week. And I feel like that's where we're at.
Yeah. It's just, it's not ideal for me. SmackDown's got a little bit to go to kind of right the ship. Or at least with the bloodline stuff, right? Because like right now, just the bloodline is neutered. It's done for me. Like even Jacob, like my sizzle for Jacob is kind of gone. Not that they've done anything, but it's just like, how are you? It's the same thing they're doing with the Judgment Day on Raw.
Yeah.
That like Damian Priest is now single-handedly beating up everybody in the Judgment Day. And he's got Rhea, sure, but Rhea's not touching any of the dudes. Like, it's Dom, or it's Damien, right? And it feels very similar. Like, I can't take the Judgment Day as a threat unless they can get over on Damien. And I know they did the big beatdown kendo stick angle, but his running buddy Rhea had a bum knee coming into the whole thing. So she was not at 100%. But they're doing the same thing on Raw and SmackDown, except you replace Samoans with a hodgepodge of Latin Scottish people. Right? Like, it's the same thing. And it's annoying. Like, it's annoying. And I want better because I know they can give us better.
Yeah.
But they won't.
Nope.
And this might be the WWE, and we've talked about this before, where, like, much like with TV shows, they will purposely give us these down periods of storytelling to then pull us up later to give us more momentum, right?
Yeah.
Like, we've had so much goodwill and good equity instilled in Triple H in this new regime that right now it's like, are we now in a holding pattern until Raw goes to Netflix? Is this what we're going to have to wait for? Because if you believe what they say on the internet for news, well, Raw's going to 2 hours in October.
Right.
SmackDown's going to 3 hours for
Allegedly.
USA, possibly. And I'm just like, are we just going to be in this holding pattern while, like, WWE's in this lame duck contract with the USA until the end of the year? And then when they move to Netflix, now everything changes? Because Raw will be on their new home. SmackDown will be like firmly planted in their new home. NXT will be firmly planted in their new home of the CW. Like, I don't want this long of a dry period.
And then, it's just WWE storytelling. Like, maybe it's just dry. Again, it's not for us.
Right.
We watch it, but it's not for us. We are watching a product that is not designed for us. So, and maybe it's just us. We've seen this in many different cycles. So,
right. But even then, like, even though it's not made for us, like, we're the ones who try to find the good in it. But even now, it's like it's almost too formulaic and, like, too, I guess, going back to, like, the phrase we talked about with, like, Bash in Berlin and stuff like that. The results are pretty straightforward. Like,
yeah,
it is baby's first storytelling, right? Like, you can set your watch to all of the beats.
It is paint by numbers with 5 numbers. Like, there's just not a lot. There's not a lot of steps in it.
Right. I don't know, man. Talk me off the ledge.
It could get better. It sounds like it's going to get better because the hot rumor this week is that WWE will be parting ways when their contract ends with the Def Rebel. Single-handedly, without question, undisputedly, the worst producer and maker of superstar theme music that there ever has been across all of sport and entertainment. It is a glorious day. These are wonderful rumors. Play the clip. I prayed for this, and it happened. Tim, where were you when you heard the news that Def Rebel might be being cast aside?
I was laying in bed, waking up from a nap, thinking that I was dreaming. Like,
What a dream.
What a dream it is. you know, I don't want to say Def Rebel did a horrible job with all of the music. I think the stuff that they hit on are big hits. Like Solo's theme, really good. Roman's theme's good. Jacob Fatu's theme is good. Even like you go to like Big E. Big E's theme was good, but then even Big E's had Wale. It was Wale with Def Rebel.
So we run into the problem with a lot of these people that our buddy Brett has pointed out, that you go to WWE Spotify, their top listened to tracks are music and entrance themes where WWE collaborates with other mainstream artists.
Yeah, I'm taking a look right now, and the top, at least the 5 popular songs on WWE Spotify is This Fire Burns, which is Jim Johnston and Killswitch Engage. It's The Game, Triple H, which is Jim Johnston. It's
Motorhead.
Well, is this Motorhead?
Yeah, The Game, that's Motorhead.
From The Music Volume 5?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Yep.
Then it's 2 Roman Reigns themes.
Okay.
Both by Def Rebel.
Okay.
And then Rhea Ripley's theme.
Mm-hmm. Which is Motionless in White.
Yes. So it's like, I personally would love to see them move towards more real artists. I think you can kind of thank Tony Khan for that.
All right. I wanted to get to that point. We had talked about it before, and it was like, well, maybe this is a way that AEW can challenge WWE. I feel like the challenge has been acknowledged and accepted.
Yes.
I feel like WWE is being forced to change.
Right. But unfortunately, I think all of their change makers, all of WWE's taste makers are kind of gone. Like, or not gone, but the people who would possibly try to drive this forward and actually be tastemakers or kingmakers in this field, not there, right? Like, because as soon as you say, well, we're going to start using real music or like real artists, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that many people on the current product that are like plugged in.
Well, there's so many suits and ties backstage that are involved in the WWE process that I'm just like trusting that somebody there has to have an idea. And like, I don't know, let me just throw out a name. Like, is Borash still there? Like, I would trust Jeremy Borash to like, he's seen enough wrestling, been a part of enough wrestling to figure out like, oh, we need to make this happen, or like ask people. And again, not all wrestlers have good ideas about what does and doesn't fit for their character. So you're not always going to get good stuff from people, but like you had mentioned WWE The Music Volume 5, that had a lot of collaboration and that went pretty well. Or I had a couple of hits that were collaborated on with the likes of Motorhead, and then like it seemed like WWE was starting to go that way. What was that? Probably towards the end of the 2000s, they were getting a lot of bands to do music that had been composed and written by Jim Johnston, WWE. And then they got away from that, and we end up with the CFOs in about the middle part of the last decade. But then looking back on it, it was like, oh, they actually get like arena rock and like what sounds good. And then the falling out there happens, and around 2019, 2020, like everybody starts getting like a new character on TV, or like they switch from being a babyface to a heel, or vice versa. They join a group, and it's like, okay, well, like, why is all this movement happening on the roster? And it's so that like 90% of the roster can get new music by Def Rebel. And it all stunk. And it all stinks. And it's really been the only thing that, like, to the streets, to the kids, to Twitter, it's really been like one of the only areas WWE's really been like clearly lacking. Like production, never question with WWE. Shows looking great, never question. The main event matches, the big matches, always deliver, all that stuff. But the music has been lacking, man. So again, I wouldn't consider myself qualified by any stretch of the imagination to comment on music, but as a wrestling fan, for pretty much my whole life, feel pretty confident and comfortable in saying the theme songs of the last 5 years have been at their all-time worst.
Yeah, man. Just not great. And if you actually saw a picture, have you seen Def Rebel?
Yes.
So here's a good in case you missed it for Def Rebel. Def Rebel is named Doug Davis.
Yeah, he's Nepo baby too.
He's Clive Davis's. He's Clive Davis's dad or son.
All right.
Dad. He is an entertainment lawyer and record producer.
Yeah.
I don't want my lawyer making sick beats.
Feels like when Kelly Clarkson's husband was like also her agent. It's like, that feels illegal. This feels this feels like this shouldn't be happening. Right. And it turns out that the judge is like, yeah, this wasn't allowed. How did this happen? It feels like this, like the Def Rebel situation. It's like a lawyer that also does theme music for wrestling. It doesn't seem right. Wrestling lawyer, okay, but record producing lawyer, no, let's not. So
right.
We've done a lot of WWE talk, and entities owned by WWE now with WCW. We did have a little bit of movement in AEW this week. I feel like there's, again, one major big talking point that really grabs our interest. Mr. Tim, we got a little bit more explanation. We got a little bit more movement in the storyline with Jon Moxley.
Yeah,
what were your takeaways? What'd you think? What'd you like?
I liked that we finally got the confrontation between Mox and Darby.
Mm-hmm.
I do love that we did that, and it kind of quelled a lot of our thirsts, right? Like, oh, does Mox want Darby to follow him and like ride with him? And John's like, nah, I just need your title shot. Okay, cool. Like, Jon Moxley's on a different plane of existence right now. Whatever John wants, John gets. And for me, I know we've said this before ad nauseum, it's like our thing to bring up here, but like for AEW, when all else fails, Jon Moxley is their Casino Royale.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just like Hikaru Shida is for the women's division.
Yep.
When you need to reset, it's John. And John is finding the darndest way to reset. The promos that were cut on Dynamite for him and Pac, Dynamite, just off the charts. The face-to-face with Darby was cool. It's crazy that of all the pillars that hit, the only pillar that stuck to me is Darby.
Yeah, agree with that.
All the other pillars, like MJF is in there, but he's not really locked in. Jungle Boy, I'm sorry. Short Bus King ain't doing it for me. It's not working. And then Sammy Guevara's on Ring of Honor. So like, start again, stop again, start again, stop again with Sammy. That's all fine, well, and good. But I am absolutely here for whatever John and his ragtag group of miscreants want to be called, what they're going to do. But Bryan Danielson's days are numbered. Numbered.
Yeah.
I don't need to know anything to know that Danielson's going down as soon as he faces Mox.
Yeah.
It's over.
I mean, I think he should get washed. I think he should get dog walked. I think he should get stomped out. I don't think it should be really even all that close. Yeah, it should be decisive. I'm looking forward to it. A near SummerSlam 92 in way that they went about redoing this Grand Slam card on 2-3 weeks notice, with Danielson's too hurt to defend a title. Moxley kind of goads Darby into putting a title shot on the line. Okay, that looks like it's going to be the new main event, but then like a couple segments later, Nigel's up to something. Okay, well, like now he's goading Danielson into coming back, but like because you've already agreed to Mox and Darby doing the title shot match, number one contendership, then okay, the title's not on the line there. So how do you get to Nigel Bryan? Well, if Bryan's cleared, then like he can wrestle, but the title's not going to be on the line because for whatever reason, right? Mm-hmm. Wins and losses do matter now. I'm not sure. But however they went about it, I think the card is better than what it was going to be. There's more story with what's going on. And Nigel and Bryan at Grand Slam doing a big TV match in a special venue is perfect to me. Sure, you could probably put it on pay-per-view. Honestly, I don't know what kind of number it's going to do. Like Nigel McGuinness is unfortunately somebody who's been out of the in-ring purview for quite a long time. Mm-hmm. Not doubting the star power he had, but
and he never like AEW is for the sickos. So is Nigel McGuinness. Nigel McGuinness isn't a name pop. For anything, honestly, like
yeah.
in the realm of speaking, like, and that's not a knock on him. I love Nigel, but Danielson, Nigel, people are like, oh, the dude who was the number one commentator in the PWI in 2024 is taking on Bryan Danielson. Cool. Danielson should smash him. But no, it's not that simple. It's not that easy. And I'm just, again, with like the casuals, but AEW's business is not the casuals. Mm-hmm. AEW's is the hardcores. And WWE is for the casuals.
The sickos. Yeah. So that's kind of AEW. I mean, I think the Moxley thing's dope. I'm looking forward to it.
I have another AEW thing really quick.
All right.
It's going to sound blasphemous.
Okay.
So I'm just locking in on my blasphemy.
Tim Taylor, blasphemy of the week.
Yo. Can we just stop using Will Ospreay? For just like a minute?
Yeah.
Because I'm getting fatigued. No. I'm starting to feel a little fatigue.
Yeah.
Like, so you do the casino, you do the gauntlet match. After having the best gauntlet match you ever could, you now do a tag team version and let everybody know that your tag division is weak. Look at the list of people that came out for that gauntlet match. Ain't none of them on the level of the Young Bucks, except for what? FTR? Mm-hmm. And the dudes who won the thing? Who aren't even a regular team?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I hate that we're just using Will Ospreay all the time. And it's always in championship situations.
I forget who said this, but it's becoming increasingly more clear to me. He is like Rob Van Dam in ECW. We don't need you in the world title picture, but man, we could really use you in like the tag team ranks, and we could use you for the TV title. And we need you for promos. Like, even though you're not like considered to be a promo guy, like you have a unique charisma. Like, we need a promo and a banger of a match. It might be a tag match. It might be a singles match. We might need both. Like, we need you. I feel like that's the role that Ospreay is cutting out for himself in AEW, and with Tony Khan being a sicko himself, it wouldn't surprise me if that's on purpose.
Right, and it's kind of along the lines of like what we had said before. Like AEW is finally like AEW, for right or wrong, has found their roster.
Yeah,
they have found who they're going to use and who they're not going to use. The problem is, I feel like you're overusing certain people. And Will Ospreay is one of them. Like, Will is special. He can't be special if he's in every match that has any sort of meaning.
Yeah.
Like, if he's in everything that's meaningful, then nothing's meaningful. It's a nitpick for me. Maybe just a little less.
I'm not gonna fight you on it. Like, once I saw he was getting involved, I was like, all right. Like, at least I went through the hoops of like Don Callis kind of cashing in on his favor that Ospreay owes him, and it's the background of Fletcher, and it's his boy, and their team before, not really in AEW so much, but like whatever happened in the UK, I don't have to care about that. We won a whole war, so I don't have to care about the UK.
They were teammates in Japan.
Nah.
They were Aussie Open, Aussie Open was a part of the United Empire run by Will Ospreay.
We won that one too. So I don't care.
Do you want to elaborate as to how we won that one? Or would you rather
Sure
not?
don't.
Okay, just want to make sure. Okay, I just want to make sure that you did not want to explain how America beat Japan. Thank you.
Yeah, I understand how you got there, and I'm not going to fight you on it. I'm not going to disagree with you. Like, it is a fine line that they have to toe, and I can easily see them overstepping. I didn't like how like they had to be, what were they, first or second in, and like had to go the whole way. I was like, all right, that's a little overkill. I get Ospreay's got the entrance, and it's a TV show, and you want to hook people, and you want to keep people, and you want to get people turning in, so you want Ospreay on the screen. I got it. I understand it. But from an idiot wrestling fan perspective, not thinking about business or making money, just what I'm watching, couldn't they come out third?
Yeah.
But
and like, to me, if you're gonna turn on Will, do it during the gauntlet. Turn on him in the gauntlet.
I have no clue where this is going.
Bucks.
I've got no idea. I've got no idea what their AW is going to do with their tag ranks. It seems like they know they have to do something. That kind of was the feeling I came away with from the Casino Gauntlet, was like, okay, they know there's a problem. They know they have to create some depth, and they're going to have to pull some teams up to do so. There's been a renewed focus to get behind the Outrunners. They're finally bringing those guys up a level. That's great. They're trying with the Grizzled Young Vets. Not for me.
Not for me.
But they're trying to get another set of bodies in there. And it kind of seemed like they've committed to, okay, you guys are heels. You're not really connecting with the crowd yet, with our audience. Let's keep you as heels. And put you up against the people our crowd does like FTR. So finding something for FTR to do. Got to create something for the Bucks to do. I get it. So it seems like they're kind of addressing and acknowledging that problem. But there is no shot in the arm. I think they thought the GYV, hate myself for saying that. I think they thought the grizzled young veterans were going to be that shot in the arm. Wasn't it? And I think they've got it from within, though. I think they've got something with the Outrunners. The fans are super into them. They're selling merch. They're doing good numbers. Give them a run. I'm not saying you got to push them to the titles right now, but get them in a tag team storyline that has clear plot points every single week. See what happens. See if you can build up these guys being on a pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm. And I think part of the problem is, too, it's not so much that the tag division is so low, but the disparity of the gap that somebody in the tag division has to cross to get to the breathing room of the 3 teams in AEW of the Young Bucks, the Acclaimed, and FTR.
Mm-hmm.
It's those 3 teams, a large drop, and then like your next highest team.
Yeah.
Which would be Private Party, the Outrunners, the Undisputed Kingdom,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe like the Grizzled Young Vets are somewhere in the middle. Like they may, I think by name recognition, they become that 4th team at the top because they're
clearly
from
4.
What now?
But clearly they're number 4.
Clearly 4 because they haven't been in AEW long enough.
Yeah. So
but like, let them in consecutive weeks beat FTR and the Acclaimed. I'd hate it.
Yeah, just
yeah, not
whatever.
for me, non-preferred.
Yeah.
Non-preferred indeed.
All right, Mr. Tim.
Does that cover everything, or is there something else? I'm just curious.
And now, Tim Taylor presents The Undertaking.
I'm back on my Undertaker steez, and it is not so good this week. I got Mayor Kane as a guest.
Bad Glenn.
Here's the thing. If I separate, here's the crappy part about being old or being older, right? There was a point in time a couple 3 years ago that I could separate the views and opinions of a person and then look at like an interview like this and be like, yo, man, Kane's really dope. Kane is like laughing and joking. He's telling crazy stories. He's ribbing on Taker on the podcast. Like, he just seems like a cool dude. He seems like the dude everybody talks about. Oh, he's so smart. He's so fun. He's so this, that, and the third. Unfortunately, I know more about him and I care less about him.
Mm-hmm.
But my story that I want to pull from The Undertaking is them talking about a thing that happened at Raw 1000.
Okay.
Where the smoke and mirrors of the Undertaker got fully exposed in front of a live audience.
Yeah, so they were at the Manhattan Center, right? At Raw 1000? No.
So,
okay. Or was that Raw 30?
That was
Raw 1000.
30.
So Raw 1000. So that's the CM Punk Raw.
Yes, that is
CM Punk Raw. Okay.
That's the Raw where Punk clotheslines The Rock.
Rocky. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Sorry, I got my Raw themes wrong by 15 years.
It's okay. So it's in St. Louis, And outside of the ring is Tyler Rex, Kurt Hawkins,
Okay.
and like 3 other dudes. Hunico's out there. It's like 5 dudes, right? And
Okay.
Kane's in the ring, and they're starting to surround Kane. And then the gong hits, and out comes Undertaker. And Undertaker's wearing his shredder jacket.
Okay.
You know which one I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The one with the spikes, and he's got the little headdress, not a hat. So he tells the story about being like, Taker tells the story about coming down to the ring, and he like, they make the big long entrance. He gets into the ring, and he goes to take the coat off.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, when I took it off at WrestleMania, I had my arms at my side. I flipped my shoulders back. The coat came off and it fell at my feet. So I go to Raw, and then as soon as he like flips his shoulders, the coat folds on him, and he is handcuffed essentially in this coat, standing in the middle of the ring, unable to get himself out of this coat. And there's all this crowd watching the Undertaker struggle to get out of a coat.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're telling the story, and like Kane is crying laughing because Kane is in the ring when it all happens. I went back and watched the footage of this that's on Peacock.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of camera cutting to the bad guys, to just Kane, to the crowd, back to the bad guys, to Kane. It's about a minute of real time that we're not showing the Undertaker at all because he is stuck in this jacket. And they tell the story about how Taker has to like walk to the ropes, and one of the stage crew guys basically is pulling the jacket, bouncing the Undertaker off the ropes, trying to get this jacket off of him. All because the back folded and like it got tucked into his MMA gloves.
His tough guy gloves.
His tough guy gloves. And like, it just made me laugh because like the way they explained it was like, Taker's in the ring and he just looked at Kane with like a deer in the headlights look, like, help. And Kane's like, oh, you're screwed. And like, Kane doesn't try to help at all. And I'm like, well, what is Kane going to do? Kane's masked up. He's like, hold on a second. Before you bad guys run in here, let me help my brother take his coat off. Who he's never had to have help with a coat in his life. It's a slim pickings day for the Undertaking, if that's what I pulled away from everything. Other than apparently Paul Bearer, when he was on the road, would take 8x10s of George Jones out on the road in case he ran into George Jones somewhere to get George to sign the 8x10s.
Huh.
Yeah. Like Paul Bearer is some sick dude who's like, I've got my own merch of my favorite music artist that just in case I see him in public, I have these 6 8x10s that I'm going to get him to sign. Is there anybody who like you would get to that level of like borderline obsessed, or like you would just, if you were a touring man?
It's different times, because now it's like, oh, you just take a picture with your phone and you have it forever, and anybody you want to see it can see it in a matter of seconds. True. And boom, there it is. Or you can also take a video of it. It's there, boom, forever, right? Back then, it's like, oh no, if I meet somebody who I'm never met before and it's a once in a lifetime type of thing, like, I got to make it count. So still a little weird. But no, current day. It sounds like a good way to end up in prison.
So here's where the real story of the Undertaking comes in. And it's more of me asking you as my podcast partner, my best friend, my brother, and the
Your
listening
king.
audience.
Mm-hmm.
So the episode of 6 Feet Under on YouTube that's available is shorter than the actual episode.
Ooh.
Because they do a Patreon exclusive Q&A session after the show with Mayor Kane and The Undertaker and the co-host. And apparently these are going to be more and more of a thing where the end of the show is going to be Q&A and is going to be Patreon exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
So here's my question. How bad do you all want me to experience brain rot that I will then do the thing I don't want to do, which is help Mark from Texas stop being cash poor by paying $5 a month to his Patreon? Now, I looked up his Patreon, and I think we've done this before, but we're going to go to Patreon and we're going to pull up the 6 Feet Under podcast. So let's explore. Let's go to search 6 feet, recently visited 6 Feet Under, Mark Calloway. There are 4 tiers. There's a $5 tier, which is just the full podcast episode with Q&As. There's a $6 Patreon, which is early access, but you get the exact same thing in the first tier. And then there's the $10 tier, where I get everything from the first tiers, plus I get the ability to submit questions to Mark directly in future episodes, and I get a shout out whenever my question is read.
We're gonna pay to credit people.
Correct. I would have to pay $10 for Mark from Texas to call me All Elite Scooby-Doo. Okay.
Heck of a bargain considering the couple thousand that cost All Elite Scooby-Doo.
Right. So, do I invest $5 a month for the Undertaking?
As you have said, you spent $5 multiple times on worse stuff. So that's where my head is at. But you let us know. T&M shows in the soon-to-be named network Discord. Get at us. Would you like to see Tim give $5 to Mark from Texas to be able to ask him a question and his guest?
No.
On future episodes.
So $10 I get to ask a question.
Okay.
$5 I get the full episodes.
Oh, just the full episodes. I thought you got to ask a question.
No, I only get to ask a question for $10.
Okay. So $5 is the full episode.
$5 I get the Q&A sessions. Now,
gotcha.
Next week is supposed to be Henry Godwin. Okay. Do I need to have the Q&A sessions to pull from good material? Especially if it's like people I don't really want to listen to? I know that sounds counterintuitive and like, so you have to pay money to listen to more stuff you don't want to listen to. To
try to find something good.
Right, like it's a bit for a show that I'm not writing off and I'm not making money on. Like I'm willingly asking if you people want me to go in the hole, Marcus has already said, he's already used my words against me that I have spent $5, possibly $10 worse than this. Some would say I spent $10 worse than this weekend. So let us know whether it's in the YouTube comments or in the Discord, or if you have my phone number, text me and tell me I did a bad job. I don't care. Like, it's not that I don't care. I don't care how you talk to us. Please talk to us and tell me that I do or do not need to subscribe to the 6 Feet Under with Mark Calloway podcast Patreon page to get these Q&A sessions. Yeah, man. It bummed me out because they were like, now we're going to get to Q&As, but those are going to be Patreon exclusive. And I'm like, son of a man, like, what are you doing? Trying to make me broke. No.
But those will be available in the dark side.
That's right. The pay side, the green side. I think that covers the show proper. Did you buy anything this week?
No, I don't think I bought anything. I think I already told you I got another Sweet Bailey card.
Yes.
In MMA Sharks thing. So yeah, this was a 1 of 10, which is super dope. But yeah, I don't have anything this week that I purchased. No. What about you?
I don't have anything either.
Boom.
It's been
Easy.
a relatively light week. Collapsible seg. Package it up.
Jones.
Ship it out. Do you have anything to plug?
No plugs for me yet.
All right. We'll get there. But soon to be named network.tumblr.com. It's your home for this and so many other podcasts, including but not limited to our wrestling offerings. I've had odds of wrestling with Joe and Adam, and we need wrestling with DJ and Brett. Adam, if you call my fantasy football win a fluke again, I will give you the proper definition of fluke. Just kidding. But check out everything on the network. Long Box Heroes After Dark, Wings on Wings. Follow it up. There's like 2 episodes left. It's going to be great. I can't wait for DJ and Brett to go on an early retirement from wing eating. It's going to be great. I want their last episode to be, we're eating all the hot sauces, and find a way to just like send the Scoville ratings through the roof. But check out everything on the network, at the Tumblr. Shout out to the wiki. Shout out to Young Ed. Shout out to everybody who listens, everybody that pitches in on the Discord. You guys are amazing. I'm drawing a blank as to who else I need to give shout outs and thanks to. If I missed you, I'm sorry. But we will be back here next week to talk about hopefully something on the TV captivates us. If not, we'll find something. But right now, Marcus, all that's left is to tell the people goodbye.
Bye, boys.